Hey guys, Shui here with episode 9 of the No Shui Out podcast. I hope everyone had a good new year. Sorry for the delay on this episode. Been a little under the weather and was on vacation for a few days. I got my guy Ralph from Sports Cards and More on. We talk a little bit 2023 in review and looking forward to 2024. I really hope you guys enjoy like we did. Thanks. Have a good day. All right, guys, Happy New Year. This is the first episode of 2024. I got my guy Ralph from Sports Cards and More here. Hey, Ralph, Happy New Year.
New Year, guys.
Hope everything's been well on your end. I just figured, I'd have you come on and we can talk a little, reflections of 2023 and maybe a little, predictions for 2024, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, sounds great. Ready to
Um,
get into it.
so I think the best place to start off is how did you feel about The Rock making his return with Jinder Mahal on Raw this week?
Um, I mean, I thought it was great having Jinder come out. I mean, guy can cut a promo and got some good heat, and was the last person in the world you'd want to see when
Right.
they're promoting a former WWE champ. But yeah, I mean, it looks like The Rock's gonna wrestle Reigns at some point, whether it's at Mania or possibly Elimination Chambers. What I've been hearing also. So, I think Cody at the end of the day should be fighting Reigns. Um, the Chambers in Australia, it's a stadium show, 60,000 people. I think you can put The Rock there versus Reigns, have Reigns go over, make him look even stronger, and make Cody's win seem bigger.
Damn, I don't know, man, not having The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania at this point almost feels, I don't know, I wouldn't say cheap, but just almost kind of a letdown. I mean, I know they're really pushing on Elimination Chamber being this huge Australia show, and we'll definitely see a uptick in Grayson Waller stuff, which, if you were interested, Ralph, I officially took the deal. So,
Oh,
sell
good.
it.
As you should.
Yeah, selling my 101 Grayson Immaculate Auto as much as it hurt my soul to do. I felt like I had to, he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Um, yeah, I thought The Rock did pretty well. I mean, obviously Jinder coming out, no one really saw that happening.
Right.
And The Rock going against Jinder. I will say it was kind of funny hearing The Rock almost do a Hulk Hogan-esque promo, and when I say that, I'm saying it in the sense of like he comes out and he just really, it's like, oh, you're talking about the red, white, and blue, brother. You're talking about America. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
cool with that, which was just, I haven't really heard too much of that side of The Rock. It's a below, to me, it wasn't The Rock's best work, but a below average Rock promo is still better than 95, 97% of everyone else. So,
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. I think there was, he didn't have that much time. And plus, I think they just kind of wanted to make it lighthearted, and then at the very end, throw that little
yeah, well,
not even Easter egg. I mean, he's flat out saying he wants Reigns.
yeah, no, I get that. It was funny to me how he's like, oh, what, you guys like eating here? You guys like eating at a bar? I'm a barman myself, or maybe I
Yeah,
should be at that. Like that, the way he set that up to me was just,
it was a little awkward.
yeah, it was very awkward for me. I mean, it's just I'm used to The Rock being so smooth and just not missing, and I don't know, some of that stuff felt a little forced. As much as I am a fan of The Rock, it definitely felt a little forced at time. Well, that actually brought me to my next question, which was whether or not you think he's gonna finish the story this year, which it sounds like you do think Cody's gonna finish the story.
Yeah, 100%. I think again, Rock at Elimination Chamber. I think for Rock's brand, it's better to do it at a stadium show like that in Australia in front of all those crazy Aussies. Than WrestleMania, something he's done before. I don't know. I think it's a bigger impact for him to go international in that stadium.
Yeah, that makes a good point. I mean, they also don't. I mean, well, let me correct myself. I'm about to say they don't have a big star to rely on. I mean, Rhea is from Australia. and Rhea's one of the
Yeah,
biggest in the company. I mean, she's not The Rock, obviously,
yeah,
but a lot of these international shows, I feel like, kind of do well anyways because of the novelty of it. You know, they don't
yeah.
do a lot of big shows in Australia, so to me, like, you know, it wouldn't have dawned on me to have The Rock come out there because I feel like regardless, it's gonna do well just because WWE rarely comes out there. Would be my thought, but that
I
would be
think,
nice. Yeah, go
people
ahead.
at the end of the day just want to see Rock versus Reigns. I don't think they care where they see it. And I don't think you could have that match. I don't think you got Rock versus Reigns at Mania without them shitting on it in Philly, because that should be Cody's spot. I think
Yeah,
it's you set yourself up to get some boo birds and such. And I mean, Rock at Elimination Chamber, and then Cody at Mania. I mean, everyone's happy. You're fighting. Rock's in the stadium. I mean,
so hypothetically, Ralph, right? If because it just feels like the Roman's not going to lose unless it's at WrestleMania.
right.
Hypothetically, Roman drops the belt to The Rock. Do you think Cody beating The Rock is going to have the same effect as him ending Roman's streak? Even though The Rock, obviously, you know, there's a debate for The Rock being on the Mount Rushmore of greatest wrestlers in the WWE ever. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time, but Roman's streak's been built up so long, especially Cody beating Roman and that concept, because it's kind of almost, it's more, you know, finishing the story is him winning the title, but it also feels like him finishing the story is him beating Roman. So I don't know
Yeah,
how you
I
felt about
I
that.
don't see Rock versus Cody. Um, it would certainly be a curveball. Um, I mean, I guess I don't think I wouldn't necessarily even be for it. No, it's gonna be Reigns Cody. I mean, it has to be. If not, it's just they're gonna get so much backlash from that.
Yeah, we've been waiting for it for, I mean,
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
count before last year's WrestleMania, almost 2 years now for Cody to beat him, you know?
yeah. I think Cody, Cody will rumble again. Um, he'll take a shot. I mean, that's it. He made that. We'll go back to the trade or something too, when he traded for Uso and this and that. I mean, if he doesn't win the Rumble, it somehow sneaks his way into it. But I don't
Yeah.
see him not winning the Rumble.
No,
I don't see Punk winning the Rumble, and then
well,
maybe Punk wins the Rumble. I don't know.
well, I was about to say, so would you rather talk about Rumble or Punk first? Because I had that on my list first. Because
It doesn't matter to me. I think they go.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, who do you think's gonna win the Rumble on both sides? Do you have any surprises on either side that you think might happen? Is there anything Rumble wise you're looking forward to? Any predictions? Anything fancy like that?
I think it's Cody still.
Do you think Cody's gonna win again? Do you think they're gonna have him come in at like 1 this time instead of 30, or just an earlier number at least? Because I don't know. I kind of was, you know, unpopular opinion. I'm kind of was happy Cody lost last year in WrestleMania because I felt like they kind of just handed him the title. You know, when he came in at 30, won the Rumble, you know, everything just seemed perfectly lined up for him to win.
Yeah.
And then they just took the rug from out from us. So I'm curious if, you know, if Cody wins, you know, are they going to make him go 1 or just really early on?
I mean, they make him go early on, or they're really just making him look like Superman. I think you just put him in the middle.
Put him in the middle.
Yeah, have him come in at like 16, 17.
So you think Cody's going to win the men's rumble? That's your guess. Uh-oh. Looks like you still there?
I'm here.
All right, we're going to have to cut out part of that when I go in post production.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of froze out. But
yeah,
on
so
the women's side,
mhm.
the women's side for Rumble, if Sasha Banks comes back, she'll win. If she doesn't come back, if they don't sign her, then Jade will win.
You think they're gonna have Jade going? I don't know. I definitely think we're gonna see Jade in the Rumble. Is gonna be. It's the best place to premiere her. It makes the most sense. You know.
She'll absolutely win if they put her in the Rumble.
Hey man, I wouldn't be mad. I also think we're gonna be seeing Naomi in the Rumble too. Would be my guess. I don't think she's gonna win, but I've been hearing strong things about Naomi coming back to WWE, which makes a lot of sense. I could see her. As you know, it's funny you mentioned Sasha. I'm sure you've seen on the Twitters that everyone, or X or whatever people want to call it these days, that Sasha, the hot rumor is that she's joining AEW very soon. Whether or not that's true is another question.
Yeah,
But
I mean, Jade's been training with 99 Hard.
oh yeah, I saw the footage. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, I just think who else could win on that roster. I mean, it's not going to be a main event, the women's match. It's not going to main event either night. So they'll open the show. You got to make it as big as possible. So
Jade,
who's
yeah,
going to win the Rumble for women, and then you're going to be happy to see her face Rhea. Becky, no one wants Becky winning. No one wants to see Becky in another championship match.
I feel like they dropped the ball on a lot of people because last year, I don't know, I felt like they could have had Raquel win. She had a decent run in the Rumble. Now I feel like no one really cares as much. Not that Raquel was like high up, but like it just seems like over the last year she's progressively gone. I wouldn't say downhill, but interest in her has definitely gone downhill. She used to be an easier spot to sell in breaks, and her cards used to sell a lot quicker. And recently, it doesn't really seem like there's that momentum for her. Because I thought she did a great job in last year's Rumble, but didn't really seem to go anywhere.
She's got as much charisma as a Stalker Celery, so.
I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of dudes I don't think have that much charisma, but they end up doing all right, especially certain folks. I feel like a lot of women like her, Shayna, others could use a mouthpiece for them. They're decent. They have the look decent in the ring, but it's just the talking, they lose me, Any surprises you think in the men's Rumble?
Yeah, maybe you'll get X-Pac.
X-Pac. I've been hearing that, back to the women for a second. I'm curious to see where, and this is maybe Rumble related or not, but I'm curious to see where Camille from NWA signs because she's a free agent. So I wonder, like, perhaps if she shows up at the Rumble. I don't know exactly where she's going to go, but I don't know how hip you are to Camille, but she looks the part. She's a tank. She's definitely someone who I would like to see against Rhea. I think it would be great.
I don't know who she is. I'm sure there's people out there, but for surprise entrance like that, I mean,
Mickie James too.
She comes out. No one knows her.
She's not huge, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of like potential, she's big. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see her. Like I was saying, Naomi, Mickie James. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see her. Mickie's a free agent. Her husband's at WWE. Also, since the Bellas called out WWE for not promoting some of the women who have, been laying the groundwork for the women's division, like themselves, WWE has seemed to make a point of trying to bring back Lita, Trish, others. So it seems like Mickie James could fit into that mold as well.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's smart business to bring the legends back, especially the women's division, because it's kind of they have a great roster, but I don't know. No one really cares.
No one really cares.
I mean, I'm part of it too. Like, I don't like. I'll watch a Rhea match, championship and such. I mean, the match you had with Flair last year was outstanding. But even with the women's Rumble, I mean, I'm not glued to it. I'll wait until like the last 5, then I'll see what's up.
Interesting. I mean, the Rumble's probably my favorite match every year on both sides.
No, Rumble is great. I'm just saying, like, women's Rumble, I'm like,
yeah. Well, there was. I remember I spoke to you about that. There was that leaked Rumble list where it was saying the order, and then that's where they had X-Pac in there, and it said Punk was winning the men's and Bayley's winning the women's, with Sasha showing up 30, blah blah blah. I don't know. They had Rhea possibly being in the men's Rumble, which I thought would be pretty cool. I don't know if they would do. I know they had Nia a few years back, but
I think that'd be cool.
I think it would look great for her, and even if she doesn't win, which she wouldn't, obviously, like, her eliminating a couple people would never really. I don't think it would really hurt too much.
Probably come in and like eliminate like Tozawa and maybe Truth. Probably definitely Truth, with the whole Judgment Day thing.
Yeah, Tozawa makes sense. Truth.
Probably throw JD over too.
I was about to say, they don't really like JD too much, so that'd be a good one. Maybe her having a stare down with Damian would be funny.
So have her throw like 10 people out. Like, that would be great.
Yeah, well, you briefly mentioned it, so you think Sasha's coming back to WWE is your
I
thought.
don't know if she's coming back, but I'm saying if she does, she'll win the Rumble.
If you had to guess, you think you think Sasha's coming back, or you think she's going to AEW?
If
Just
I really
Ralph's
had to
opinion.
guess,
Yeah, if
I
it's
mean, I
your
hear they're
opinion.
far apart from money, but I also don't think they really give a shit about money because he makes so much of it. TKO.
Oh yeah, they
They've got
clean up.
deeper pockets now than WWE was just, a single company. So yeah, they probably get her.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep hearing she's coming, but at the same point,
I could do without her, to be honest. I don't really see the big.
AEW needs her, bro. They really need her.
Eh,
They have a really good opportunity with their women's division. Tony Storm's been doing amazing. Athena was ranked high. Jamie Hayter and Britt, when they come back, people are really into Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I think they have
Tony
a pretty.
Storm.
Yeah, Tony's been killing it. So I
It's the
think having
best thing. It's the best thing they've ever done.
the best thing they've ever done. Ooh, I don't
It
know,
really
man.
is. I
It's
mean,
definitely up there. Like for
and I
me, as
think
far
it's
as women,
literally
it's definitely the best thing they've
it's
done.
as
But I don't
close
know.
to it's as close to his original thought than they've ever had. I mean, they kind of, you know, ripped raw villains off and then ran with it to a different lengths with it. It's like greater heights, I should say. But it's the most original thing they've done. Certainly more original than the Undisputed Kingdom. But
Yeah, no, I'm not too. I mean, I'm happy that Adam Cole's gonna be a bad guy again, but
yeah,
besides that, I'm not too hype on the rest of everything else going on. And to be honest, everyone knew that Adam Cole was the devil like a month or two ago, at least, if not longer. So it just wasn't too exciting for me. I don't know, man. Rewatching some of MJF's old promos where he went in on Punk and other people, that to me is some of the best AEW television they had. Tony, though, is
maybe he'll be
definitely.
at Rumble.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think MJF already re-signed with AEW. We'll see. I'm basing
I
that
don't know.
mostly
I
off
don't think
what
so.
I've heard,
I,
but
you know what? For him to resign with AEW without even talking to WWE would be very fucking stupid.
yeah, I mean,
Really stupid. I
they
mean,
might have
really,
given.
really, 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 really stupid. Bad business. I don't see him as someone who's like, I have to stay at AEW, or I don't see AEW throwing him an offer and being like, wow, WWE would never match this. So,
I think it's more like, the thing about MJF, right, is that right now he's in obviously a great position because he's the top at AEW. He really has Tony over the proverbial barrel, as they say. Like he can really pretty much ask Tony for anything. If he goes to WWE, which I'm not saying is necessarily a bad decision, but I don't know if he'll be a AEW. He's a big fish in a small pond. If he
right.
goes to WWE, he's a big fish in an ocean. It's just all of a sudden, and this is actually kind of going to touch on one of the other questions I was going to talk to you about, Ralph, which is just like they already have Punk, they have Cody, they have Roman. There's a lot of people at the top of the table. Where would that leave MJF, or where does that leave LA Knight going into 2024? Someone like LA Knight,
But
I've seen, to me personally, him losing to Roman, I wasn't a fan of. And since Punk has come back, he's kind of been, I wouldn't say completely put on the back burner, but he's definitely not getting as much time as he was.
yeah, no, I mean, it's true. And his pops are getting a little less and this and that. But I don't think he's a guy who needs the belt, to be honest. I mean, maybe somewhere down the road, but he can float around and still be popular and sell T-shirts, and that's all. A lot of times WWE cares about. I mean, with MJF, first off, MJF comes to WWE, he fights Gunther. That's it. He throws Gunther at Mania. Would you rather be wrestling Gunther at Mania for the IC title for MJF, or would you rather be fighting Adam Cole at a All Out in the main event?
You mean
You know,
you mean All In, the one at
All
Wembley?
In, All Out. What? There's an All Out. Isn't there an All Out?
Yeah, there's an All Out, but All In is like they're closer to Mania equivalent just because they have the
Whatever
bigger
the case
stadium.
may be. No,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't think he's signed. I think he is a free agent or close to it, and he's definitely going to talk to WWE first.
Well, I will say they mentioned MJF on Dynamite on Wednesday, so I I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where he's at. To me, it's one of those things where I feel like he goes back to AEW. I don't think that necessarily means he never goes to WWE, but I think he knows that, if I stay at AEW, I'm going to be the top guy. I go to WWE, they could book him wrong. They could book him differently. It could end up killing his momentum. Who knows? There's a lot of variables. It's what he knows at AEW versus the unknown at WWE, where it could turn out like you're talking about, or it could turn out a lot shittier. And he also has more freedom at AEW as well. Creative, but
the unknown
outside too.
The unknowns, like the unknowns, are not the same unknowns you'd have a year or two ago when Vince was still at the helm and Dunn was there. It's a totally different place now.
Well,
people want to go to WWE. There's no more I'd rather go to AEW.
No, I don't think that's necessary. I think people definitely want to go to WWE. I don't think that's a debate. People not wanting to go to
most people.
To me, it's an unknown in the sense that like he's never worked there. He's taking Cody and other people's words. So regardless of Vince, Triple H, or anyone, if you're going to a new job, regardless of who's running it, it's still a relative unknown because you've never done it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think MJF will be fine wherever he goes. I think he might just stay at AEW for a bit longer because he'll get paid handsomely and he can be the top guy guaranteed versus WWE. He's going to be given a script and told what to say and have to be a little bit more PG, and just there's a lot of variables, and it's a question of if he's going to want to do that, because in theory, for me personally, I feel like he's kind of would be taking more of a risk going to WWE than AEW, in the sense that like he pretty much seems to do no wrong in AEW. He bitched out Tony Khan on national television and got a raise. So it's
unless that's well, I mean, I don't know. I disagree. Because you can go to WWE, you can make more money, maybe not even be a top guy. Then you're going to have more exposure, be more popular, and then if he wants to go back to AEW, he can.
Right, but I never said about like a lot of the points you brought up are actually points I didn't bring up, because it's like in theory he could make more money in WWE. Having said that, in AEW, when he goes and does Iron Claw, he doesn't have to give Triple H a cut, or does other stuff outside of AEW. He doesn't have to give AEW a cut, versus when you sign a WWE contract, when you do a lot of other stuff, you have to give WWE a cut, as well as you get better merch residuals in AEW than you do WWE. But he's going to get potential.
Rewind on the merch residuals, because they're saying
you're getting better percentages of your merch. I'm not saying you may make as much money, but as far as percentages off you merch, AEW gives more to their wrestlers than WWE does.
Yeah, but they're selling a lot less.
Depending on the wrestler, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, CM Punk sold $500,000. He made $500,000 supposedly off his first start.
I mean, dude, when CM Punk came to AEW, Pro Wrestling Tees shut the fuck down. You don't remember that? They had so many orders. The whole website shut down. They had so many orders, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you look at what Punk did, like, if that's even true the first 2 weeks, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, all I know is if he goes to WWE, it's going to be a big test for him. If he's as good as people say he is, because like you said, he has no leash in AEW. He can get cheap pops, courtesies.
I mean, he controls his creative, essentially. Like he pretty much controls his character. In WWE, he's going to be given a script, and he's not going to have as much freedom to really be himself. Like obviously, like what spot has potential to make the most money? It's WWE. It's not even a debate. Like, I'm not going to die on that hill, Ralph. I'm just saying, like, AEW might be willing to give him more per year up front, and might be willing to, give him that extra freedom where he works less dates than he would have in WWE, and he can work on whether, like, he seems to want to get more into the world of Hollywood and acting and stuff like that. So it gives him more of an opportunity to do that stuff without having to give WWE a cut, because John Cena till this day still gives WWE a cut of everything he does. So
yeah, as it should.
As yeah, well, he said he didn't mind doing it because he's like, hey, if it wasn't for Vince, I'd be mowing lawns, is what he said on Howard Stern. So I feel him. Like I'm an MJF fan regardless, just like I'm a Jade fan regardless. So whether they're in AEW or WWE, I'm not mad. I just think MJF might want to be that top guy a little bit longer because in WWE, he goes in and he's not going to be the top guy immediately. I mean, if he beat, it's funny you brought up Gunther. That was one of my questions is like, will Gunther lose this year? And if so, who? Like, MJF would be not the worst idea if he showed up. I don't know how this would work. I kind of was hoping LA Knight. I don't know. I know you don't seem as worried about it as I do, but there's been a lot of guys who've had some momentum who've just kind of, especially in this age of Roman Reigns, where a lot of the wrestlers almost seem like fodder for Roman to maintain his title. You look at Drew, who's kind of stuck in the middle. Like a lot of guys who went against Roman kind of got stuck in the middle. Even Seth, before they made that new title, was kind of
Yeah.
just like stuck in the middle. So I just get worried that LA Knight, he still might be like a fan favorite, but he might not make that real next step into superstardom. Because
I
he's
mean,
definitely a star right now. He's making money, he's selling merch, he's popular, the fans like him. But
I don't think a win versus Gunther does anything for him. He's already a star. Whoever beats Gunther has to be someone who's on the cusp of stardom.
so
So
what, like Braun Breaker, someone else? Like I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
I,
he doesn't need it. Like
I
have,
disagree, man. I'm worried about LA Knight personally. Like
I
I
think like an IC title is like a step down when he's chasing the world title. Now he's all about I want the title, I want the title, and then you go from all right, well you know what, I'll go for the IC title instead. Like that's stupid. Like they're
mm,
not going to do that. I
I don't
mean,
know,
I
man.
think Braun would be like Braun would be perfect. Maybe even like if they could build up Carmelo Hayes between now and then, which they're not going to, but
You don't
like
think
he'd be
they
a good
are?
guy to like dethrone Gunther. Because guess what, Gunther loses, then he goes for a world title, would be completely fine. So
Oh yeah, Gunther.
he has,
No, I feel like Gunther's gonna go one of the first guys after Cody. I feel like Gunther versus Cody is gonna
yeah.
be big whenever Cody actually wins the title. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, he's got that Goldberg-esque like dominance. No one's been able to beat him. The IC title to me is more important than Seth's title right now. I mean,
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's one thing I will say is that them having Gunther hold the IC title, like before Gunther, I think Gunther won it from Ricochet, and like Apollo Crews
yeah,
had it for a minute too. So it's like before Gunther, the IC title was kind of just lost in the sauce and almost kind of at the same level as the United States Championship.
yeah,
And now you see he's definitely brought respect back on the title. That's why I was thinking LA Knight, just because again, I don't see really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Seth gets cashed in on by Damien, and then LA Knight can be Damien or some shit. But I just, I don't know. I just don't want LA to get lost in the sauce. I've seen a lot of
yeah.
people get started up and then shut down.
I don't think he'll get lost. I think maybe they even bring like a legend back or something. I mean, maybe you get like an LA Knight. I mean, it would be tough, but like an LA Knight Stone Cold match, really, something like that. Like, make him like a main attraction. But I mean, talking from Mania at least.
I'd love
Uh,
to see LA Knight and Rock in the ring together, just talking. Doesn't even need to be wrestling. Just them going line for line on the mic would be fun.
yeah, maybe you get LA Knight Rock. I don't know. I just, I don't know. He'll be fine. He doesn't. He'll get the strap eventually. Just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah, he's gonna have to wait a long bit because I don't see him getting it before Cody, and I just feel like
Well,
I don't
Cody
know.
will lose it before the end of the summer once he beats Reigns. He's not gonna
Yeah,
win
no,
Reigns.
he's not gonna hold on to it for a while. Baby faces don't necessarily end up holding the title for the longest amount of time usually. Um, well, with all that said, CM Punk, you don't think he's winning the Rumble, which I think is fair. I don't think he should win the Rumble. He's barely wrestled since he's came back. It would seem forced to me personally. What do you see for CM Punk in 2024? Do you see him potentially dethroning Seth? I feel like that's kind of everyone's logical conclusion is that him and Seth are going to go at it at some point, whether or not, he's always said he wants to headline WrestleMania, which it's funny because even if he's going to headline WrestleMania, he's still going to kind of be the whatever Roman's doing is going to be the 1A headline, and whatever Punk's doing, unless it's against Roman, is going to be the 1B. You know.
Yeah. I mean, still they're always talking about Austin Punk at Mania. If they could somehow. I mean, that's the thing with these guys coming back. They'll throw wrenches in. All Stone Cold has to do is say, "Hey, you know what? I want to come back and fight Punk." Like, okay, and they'll have to scramble. I think that's a match you'll definitely see. I don't know if it'll be at this Mania. I don't know if it'll be at SummerSlam. I don't know.
If Punk stays around, maybe it's next year's Mania. You know, depends on.
Yeah.
It's curious. I'm curious to see how long the relationship with Punk and WWE lasts. I'm hoping for the best. You know, as an AEW fan, I'm still a little bit bitter that all that went down, but I'm hoping that CM Punk lasts in WWE, and I hope that they can make all this work out.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think my gut will tell me fight Seth at Mania.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling too, man.
He'll probably win. He'll probably feud with Judgment Day or something throughout the summer. And then I think by next year's Mania or Rumble, you'll probably, if you don't see Punk versus Austin, the second biggest match I think you do is Punk versus Reigns.
So, it's funny that you brought up Judgment Day, because that's actually one of the things I had on here is who Damien's gonna cash in against. And I mean, Punk having his moment at Mania, beating Seth, and then the Judgment Day music hits. All of a sudden, Damien comes out and cashes in on him.
Yeah, and you could do that.
And then it also gives a good opportunity for LA Knight to beat Damien and get that title eventually, too, because you know Damien is if Damien beat CM Punk clean, people I think would be pissed. But him cashing in, kind of doing his little Weasley shit, and then LA Knight coming in and beating him eventually is a great opportunity to get LA Knight that title and get them to the next level. We'll see if that happens. Do you see Damien cashing against anyone else? And do you think he'll be successful?
No, I think I'll have a failed one. I don't see him. I don't see him cashing in the Gremlin title. It'll be failed. Probably some asshole like JD will fuck something up, and I don't know. How do you? As cool as that would be, how do you have CM Punk win the title on Mania and then have Damian Priest come catch it on him?
I mean,
I don't think they would do that.
I don't know, man. I mean, Damien's running out of opportunity to cash in that title, so realistically, it's like,
well, what the thing we've never seen. Have we ever seen someone hold the Money in the Bank briefcase all the way to Money in the Bank?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
What if you had him hold it? He goes in the Money in the Bank contest again, wins a second briefcase. Now he's got two briefcases. And then you could say, oh, Judgment Day, I can go into SmackDown and get the title. I can go here and get the title. We could have both of them, blah, blah, blah. You know? Have him lose first one and then maybe have him lose both. I think that's the move. Give him two briefcases.
Interesting. I don't know, man. To me, like, Damien beating Punk would make sense because Punk's won the title before with the Money in the Bank. I mean, Punk's won the Money in the Bank, what, twice? That I can remember?
Yeah.
At least twice. So, having Damien beat him gives the opportunity on LA Knight, and then, let's say, maybe Finn Balor wins the Money in the Bank next year, and you have the awkward tension of Balor versus Priest, you know?
Yeah, or if you don't want to give him two briefcases, which I think would be pretty fucking cool, have Balor or Dom win the other briefcase.
Right.
And then throughout the summer, they could say, oh, we could, like, again, we could have all the titles, we could have all the power, blah, blah, blah. Just them being a threat with the briefcase alone is, like, enough to keep them over and make interesting, TV.
Well, if they both had briefcases, too, it's like they both run down the ring. It's like, all right, who's going to cash in?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
The second one of them cashes in and wins, they look at the other one because they're worried the other one's going to come in and try to roll them up.
Yeah.
For the title. So, no, a lot of good opportunities. We got about 4 minutes before I gotta restart stream.
Okay.
But yeah, why don't we can pause here, and then I'll restart the stream real quick because I only had 3 or 4 more questions left, anyways. If you're cool with that, Ralph.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Hey guys, Shui here from Windy, Orlando, and I just wanted to tell you that if you would like to support the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Go check out ShuiNostalgia.com, pick up some merch. Go check out the Shui Wrestling Network on District. Use Shui5 on your first order to get $5 off. Check out our Facebook group, Shui Nostalgia, Wrestling Cards, Toys, Buy, Sell, Trade. A great spot to meet other collectors, same with the network. And I hope you guys are having a good year so far. All right, cool, guys. We're back with part 2 of the pod with my guy Ralph from Sports Cards and More. All right, so the question I think I left us on last that I was going to ask that we ran out of time was, who do you think is going to be on the rise in 2024? If you had to take any guesses, whether AEW, WWE, I know you're more of a, you're more at the altar of Triple H and Vince McMahon than Tony Khan, but who do you think's coming up in 2024, Ralph?
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Right.
I mean, right now, if you look at the main roster, like when I say like coming up, I mean the main roster's stacked. So you've got your mainstays there. I think there's very limited spots.
Well, coming up could also just mean like them getting to that next level.
No. I know. I'm thinking it both ways. I mean, the next level is like kind of moving back. Like next level is probably reserved for like an LA Knight.
Right.
Next level is probably reserved for Damian Priest, a Dominic Mysterio. I mean, I think your mainstays are going to stay there. And like I said, there's like 3 or 4 spots. I would say like those 3, to me, I mean, CM Punk is going to be up there, obviously. He's not, up and coming. But
No. I mean, him, Cody, and Roman are kind of the top of the company right now.
I would say like LA Knight, Priest, and probably Dominic Mysterio will, take it to the next level. In terms of like I don't see like Grayson Waller or Grayson Waller I could see doing some things, but he's kind of like an Aussie Miz to me. And he's kind of got like the same gimmick when you really think about it.
I mean, him, Miz, Austin Theory, I kind of group in that same category,
They're all really fucking annoying. They should put them all together.
Yeah. Well, I know Grayson and Austin, I think, were together for a bit. I'm not sure if they still are. I find it fascinating, though, because I guess I was kind of assuming you might say some names out of NXT as people who could get to that next level, because I feel like a lot of people on the main roster right now are kind of, again, besides LA Knight, I feel like they're kind of where they're going to be at. They've kind of, I feel like they've done as much as they want to do with Drew. I don't feel like Drew had that opportunity, and it's sad that he didn't really get his full moment because of the pandemic. But I guess I was more towards leading you towards, someone in NXT, someone like, is Cora Jade really going to come up to the main roster at the Rumble, or her or Roxanne, and actually make like an impact in the main roster? Is anyone from NXT? Because that one name, I feel like, as much as I'm a Carmelo Hayes guy, and I hope that he finally gets that main push to the next roster, it's hard to deny that even during Melo's run in NXT, to me, the spotlight has been on Braun Breaker. They came in around the same time. Him, Grayson, and Melo all came in around the same time. Braun has the pedigree. When, is the Rumble going to be Braun's first foray onto the main roster? Is Braun going to really take that next step? Because I'm curious where Braun's going to be on the main roster, because he's not the biggest guy. He looks big on NXT the way they shoot him, but when you put him next to Von Wagner or whoever, he's not the biggest guy. So I'm curious if he's going to take that next level, like that next step. Some of these ladies, like Tiffany Stratton, had a great year in 2023. She's someone I could definitely see, possibly being in the Rumble and taking that next step too, which would be interesting, her kind of passing Cora Jade. So
I was going to get to some of the NXT guys. I mean, I think the only one who's ready for it is Braun.
I just don't see how he fits on the main roster. I guess that's my main issue with Braun, is I don't see where he fits. It doesn't really,
I
like
mean, you could just
Tiffany, I can see on the main roster. Braun, I'm just curious, like, good guy, bad guy. Is he going to be beating? Is he going to beat Gunther? I don't know. I'm just
yeah.
curious.
I think like we overthink sometimes. We bring people up and they immediately have to like do something like super interesting. I mean, I think you could bring him up and just be a bruiser and just kind of flatten some people for like 6 7 months, and then once that U.S. title opens up, as far as whoever has it, I mean, Logan will lose it, probably a
Right.
couple months. I mean, kind of get him in the U.S. title picture, and then kind of take a similar path like Gunther's taking with the IC title. I think Braun would be great for U.S. Championship. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm just like I said, I'm just curious how they would utilize him. My AEW folks, which I know you're not going to have
oh,
as many on this. Go
yeah,
ahead.
1 second. Hey,
Yeah,
fucking shut up!
there you go.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta like get up
Yeah,
here. Is it cool?
yeah. Ralph's gonna go deal with his pets real quick. But I don't know. I'm tempted to talk AEW with Ralph not here anyway, since he's not as big of an AEW. um. So yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that this year we get to see Swerve really take that next step in AEW. He's someone he's had a lot of great momentum this year. He's been doing a lot of great stuff. He seems really primed. AEW seems really good at getting guys close to this point where Swerve's at now, where it's like, all right, he's up there. He's getting close to being a top guy. But I feel like sometimes they don't quite actually, get that next get that next level done properly. Hangman won the title, but his reign was pretty lame. When he won the title, I know he had taken off some time for maternity leave, but when he came back, it just didn't feel as special. I feel like Darby's had a few moments that they haven't really capitalized on. So I hope that works out for them. Um, I'm curious to see where Julia and Sky Blue go. Nothing against Sky Blue. I don't really. I get the popularity in cards because she's cute and all this other stuff, but she doesn't really have much of a character yet. She's solid in the ring, but there's nothing in the ring where I'm like, all right, she's significantly better than anyone else, or I see a lot of high end potential. So I'm kind of curious to see where she goes this year. But I guess Swerve, Julia, I'm hoping Willow will be one of the next up. I feel like they have a great opportunity with Willow. A lot of people seem to like her. A lot of people enjoy what she's been doing. So I'm hoping that that can really be what kind of moves AEW in the next direction. And, hopefully if they do get Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks, we can see the whole women's division and the whole company as a whole kind of elevate and get to that next level, because they really need to do something to change the narrative after this CM Punk stuff.
I could have said it better myself.
Yeah. Oh, you are here. Okay. There you
I'm
go.
back. Yeah.
You're back. Yeah. So yeah, I was basically saying I really hope they can get Swerve and Willow to the next level this year. Swerve's been on a great run, and I also was just saying I don't really, besides her being cute, I don't really get the appeal of people on Sky Blue, because she doesn't really have a character and
Yeah.
she's not great in the ring. Um,
I mean,
but
Swerve's been tremendous. I mean, he can afford to lose those, with the exception of his manager. If he lose Cage and whoever else is in that group, does not need them, and it's like overkill.
yeah, they've actually been kind of keeping them separate a little bit more recently. So hopefully they do
Yeah.
that. Sometimes those factions can be a little too much. I feel bad for Brian Cage because he's kind of just been lost in the sauce since he was in AEW, where they just don't really know how to book him that well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's like, oh, he could be a top guy, but it's just they have so much. There's so many people in there that they could do more with. But that's every company. Let's be honest. They always have thick rosters, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so Braun Breaker is the only one I can see who's really, ready to go up. Carmelo. I mean, Carmelo's great.
What's Carmelo's peak to you, Ralph? If you had to say, like, what do you think his if you had to compare him to a wrestler, like where do you think he could get by the end of his career? What do you think his ceiling and what do you think his floor is?
Maybe, I mean, maybe his ceiling's a world heavyweight title, possibly. I don't know. He's small.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, if there was a superstar, so like, I know some people have been like, well, his ceiling might be Shawn Michaels, and that's pretty high. So, but they mentioned Shawn just because Shawn's
Yeah, no, his
smaller
ceiling will be Shawn
comparatively.
Michaels. His ceiling could be like a Finn Balor.
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they did him justice bringing him up for that match with Owens. His like entrance was like scaled down to from like the production he has in NXT. He didn't feel like important, and they've done that with Mel in the past too to bring him to fight Balor once. I think he fought maybe even Seth. I don't know. They bring him up once in a blue moon, and then I don't know. It's not how I would have brought him up. It's good for him to get the exposure, but for him just to come and
yeah.
take an L and then go back to NXT, like, doesn't make too much sense to me. But
And it doesn't really seem like they follow up on it too much either.
no,
I can see that. I'm curious to see where he goes again. The whole Braun thing, I'm not as sold on just because I see the image. It's just I just don't see him fitting on the main roster. But we'll see. I'll probably be wrong. It's okay. If so, the two last questions I had, and we can obviously go on here. If you could book one match, I believe both of these questions were actually asked by Winner Ralph. So there you go.
okay, what up, man?
If you could book one match this year, what would it be? And you can take that as like one WWE match, or if you want to do interpromotional, if there was one match that you would want to see this year, or one specific thing that you'd want to see happen this year, what would it be, Ralph?
Punk and Stone Cold, easy.
Punk and Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's nice and easy.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always been like one of the dream matches out there people have had. They've teased it. It can happen now.
So Punk and Stone Cold, is that going to headline over Cody and Roman? I know they each headline their own day, but they have the one.
Yeah, no, just be on one of the nights,
Yeah. Hey, that was nice and quick to the point. I'm trying to think what I'd want. I mean, I think Jade versus Rhea would be great. Personally, that's just I'm a big Jade fan, so I think it would be fascinating to see how much better she's gotten being in the PC and taking these last couple months to really hone in on her craft and just get some more polish, as they say. And the last question Winna had, which actually is the last question I have, unless we think of something else, is, and this should be good coming from you, Ralph, but in your, I don't know if this is the correct wording. I might reword it. His original question was, what does AEW need to do to compete with WWE? Now, me personally, I feel like they're not, like, WWE is so far ahead established. Like, I always say this, they're the Walt Disney of wrestling. Like, they have so much more material. They've been around for almost 100 years. Like, it's just, barring something crazy happening, I don't see AEW necessarily like catching up with them ever, or like competing. Like, I just think it would take a lot longer and a lot of variables there. But I guess I would say, I would rephrase his question to be like, what do you think AEW needs to do to get back to where they were before all these CM Punk shenanigans happened? I think it's a better question. Like, how can they get back to being a hotter product? Because when Punk showed up, when Bryan Danielson showed up, when Adam Cole showed up, AEW was a hot product. People were all talking about it. Not that WWE also wasn't doing well, but more people were speaking positively about AEW. And pretty much since Jade and Punk left, the narrative has completely changed. Viewership's been a little bit down. Obviously, people have been saying less people have been showing up to events. If you had the pencil, Ralph, what would you do to get AEW to where it should be, in the sense of like, just, I think their goal should just be growing as a company?
In a deep dark hole and never have him resurface again, because he talks so much trash.
Wait. You broke up and it just said deep dark hole. All right, rewind.
I would put Tony Khan in a deep dark hole and never have him surface ever, because one of the main reasons why people hate AEW and like this tribalism, this and that, is Tony Khan, because he comes on, he talks shit about WWE, he wants to try to dunk on them, you know. And at the end of the day, he's not a self-made. He's a daddy's boy, and it's like, you know what? You got your company, that's great. Just shut the fuck up already. That's the first thing I would do. Second thing I would do is I'd remove him as a head booker, because it ain't it. They have to stop trying to be WWE. They were an alternative during COVID. I actually enjoyed AEW during COVID. One of the reasons, because they were like in an actual like arena, and, you know, had some noise, whatever. But they're like just hold on a second. Sorry, I threw my sandal at the cat. They, and not abusing him, guys. I'm just taking him off. They have to try to get back to where they were during COVID. Be a true alternative. They're not an alternative right now. I just think, like, I don't know. I mean, I watched like AEW like a week ago. I watched an hour, and I saw like a backstage interaction between Swerve and MJF, and it just like dragged on, and like there was like no camera cuts. I don't know, man. It like, for as good as those two are, did them no justice at all. And I'm like, why are like their first words that they're like really exchanging like backstage? And it was just weird to me, man. I don't know, but they have to stop trying to be WWE. They have to eliminate a couple of the titles. They're trying to be sports centric with all these tournaments and points and this and that. I don't really know if people care about that stuff. They are doing some good things. I mean, they need characters, like, not cringy characters either. I mean, WWE definitely has cringe, but
yes, they do.
I mean, but they've got lots of cringe. I mean, the Tony Storm is like one of the best things they've done. Swerve, they do a lot of stop and go pushes and a lot of 50-50 booking. Like the way they book Darby, he's like losing every other match, 50-50 with him. It seems like guys get hot, like Hook, then they just like kick him back to the burner. I think they're really.
Yeah, Ralph, you broke up, man. You think what?
I mean, they played a ratings game. They know who's drawing when they're on TV versus who's not. But I think they have a short leash with who to keep on. And if like their ratings dip, like I don't know, like Hook was hot, right?
Everyone Hook was super hot. I don't know what happened with Hook. They completely stopped his push.
Why is Darby losing all the time? Starks was hot. Why is he in a tag team with Big Bill? I mean, these are like pillars of AEW, and they just keep bringing in all these international stars, and like without any storylines, they just come and just beat one of their mainstays, and then they don't come back until 3 weeks later, and they do it again. Like the whole Devil angle, it would have been so much better if it was cut like a month shorter. That dragged on way too long.
Yeah, I mean, once most people knew it was going to be Adam Cole from the beginning.
You got
Darby, I think their feeling with Darby was like, I think they're like, well, Darby's just one of those guys where it's like the spirit of the fight, I guess, where I would say it's interesting you said they're trying to be WWE. I think more people have been saying they're trying to be New Japan recently. A lot of people
with the tournaments and such.
With the tournaments and just also trying to focus more on the matches and such versus the sports entertainment as much. And they had that tournament, and I definitely feel like they could have made it slightly more interesting because the whole points thing and blah blah blah. Like I feel like if they had it more a March Madness style where it's just like single elimination, I feel like it would have been easier to follow personally. But I'm not mad at them taking chances. I will say that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, where it's like you look at Hook, you look at Darby, you look at Hangman, Ricky. There's a lot of guys where it's like they kind of start with them and then it kind of just gets stopped. Like the Hook thing in particular, Hook was so hot, and then he for some reason lost to Jungle Boy, and then since then he's been kind of blah, which is the same thing that happened to Wardlow. Wardlow lost to Samoa Joe, and then since then he's been kind of blah, and they're hoping that putting him in with Cole will rejuvenate them and all this stuff. But
Oh, Warlow is done. They just gave him a Luchasaurus role. They rehashed the same
Yeah, it's like the
storyline.
Pinnacle point two, 2.0 essentially. It's just like Adam Cole instead of MJF. They got the tag team and they got
They have no
Wardlow.
identity. They had an identity, and after COVID, it's like I don't know. It was good during that. And even before it was good.
I think AEW needs to trim the fat a bit. There's a lot of
Oh
people on
yes,
that where it's just like, for example, nothing against the Kingdom. I am still confused why why AEW even got the Kingdom added. You know, like them or like why best friends like Trent Beretta's on TV like every week. No offense to the guy, it's just I don't care. You know, like he's
yeah.
on literally every damn week. And then, there's guys like Hook and there's guys like you said, Darby, where it's just that New Japan style of being like, the spirit of the fight. Like, even though he lost, he gave it his all. And, he really had to get he had to really get beat the shit out of for, him to take that loss. But for me, it's like,
He's Dolph Ziggler face paint.
to me, I just feel like they kind of made him more so into like Jeff Hardy before he won a title, but they
Yeah,
never really capitalized on like, because people like Darby, he's cool, he's all this, but he, even with those TNT title runs seem so long ago. I feel like, to me, I would have rather him have a match against Sting at some point. They
I
never
mean that
really
should be
did
his
that.
last match. But
Right.
honestly, like okay, so he fights Sting and he wins. It does nothing for him. So go back the next week and lose to fucking Ortiz or something. I mean, I'm just like throwing names out there, but um,
Well, they don't be having him lose to Ortiz, my guy.
no, I know,
But
I know. But like, you know what pissed me off too? Like Daniel Bryan, like for a company that like used to pride himself on giving people what they wanted, they don't anymore. And like, I understand Daniel; he wants to give back, he wants to help build stars, this and that. Fuck that. Give him the belt, have him win matches. He's one of their biggest draws. Same thing with Moxley too. Have him, like these guys are just like it's like Jericho too. It's like I lost an Action Andrade. Like okay, what the fuck you do for that guy? That guy's a jobber. Like these people, these veterans are taking L's, but they're not building those people up. They're not
yeah, if you're
doing
gonna
anything.
take an L, it has to actually mean something. It can't just be
It
some
has to mean
random.
something. One of the
Yeah,
problems is they don't have like a WrestleMania. They can't yet. They're not there, But like, no one's gonna remember Chris Jericho losing to whoever on an episode of Dynamite. There's no
yeah.
WrestleMania big stage like that for him to lose on. That's the other issue. I think their closest thing they had to a big stage, and I think it was bigger than anything, even bigger than Wembley, was Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe. I think Grand Slam was their biggest show to me with Daniel Bryan versus Omega, that hour-long match they had.
Yeah, that
Like,
was sick.
to me, that is like peak AEW. I watched that whole show. I'm like, this is great.
Right.
Guys I've been wanting to see, To me, that was like peak AEW. If they could have just, kept that. I mean, Wembley was great, but I mean, that main event was hairy at the end, dicey.
I mean, I liked All In. I would just say, like, when you're talking about Arthur Ashe, it just reminds me of like how much of a moment Eddie Kingston had a while ago, where they could have really like capitalized on that and had Eddie win like the TNT title or something.
Yeah.
Like, or and I know you were making fun of him earlier, but I think they really missed an opportunity not giving Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz the belts a while ago. Like, there was a brief moment where they could have given them the titles and it would have legitimized them, and they don't. And I think you make a solid point where it's just they need to build up some more of their homegrown type guys. Like, as much as I believe Samoa Joe is going to be a solid champion, we already know who Samoa Joe is.
Right.
Like MJF losing could have helped elevate someone else. And now he didn't. He just brought Samoa Joe back, and Samoa Joe can elevate someone. But even then, it just seems like a missed opportunity. Someone like Ricky, I feel like, is him, and potentially Hobbs and Wardlow. I feel like guys who can be WWE bound at some point, because one of the main reasons I feel like they would stay at AEW is what I was getting at earlier with MJF, where it's like, all right, Ricky Starks, I'm going to get more time in AEW than I would in WWE because bigger fish, smaller pond. But we'll see, because Ricky, like you were saying, Ricky had some great matches with Bryan Danielson and other people too. I feel like Ricky should have had a real belt at this point and not just a tag belt. You know, something past the FTW crap, which I don't, you know, it's like I don't really care.
Yeah, who cares about that thing?
And then they kind of, you know, just put him in a random tag team with Big Bill. I'm not mad at him being with Big Bill, where it's like Big Bill's his Diesel to Ricky Shawn Michaels, you know, just talking about dynamic, not skill wise, guys. So don't get mad.
No, yeah.
I compared Shawn Michaels to Ricky Starks. That's not what I'm getting at. It's just I like the pairing of them, but I think
he didn't need that.
He didn't. I mean, it doesn't hurt. He didn't need. I just don't get him winning the tag. They have so many tag teams that are actual tag teams they could give the belts to. And
the reason, yeah,
AEW just need. To me, the bottom line is there's a lot of guys on that roster. They just need to trim the fat because Tony doesn't want to fire people.
He didn't need that. You like the reason Shawn Michaels even had Nash was A, probably because they were friends, and B, because he was a smaller guy and he was in the land of fucking giants back then. Yokozuna, Psycho Sid, Undertaker, Vader. I mean, there were these monsters there. It made sense for him to have like a big like that. And I think like now people think, oh, small guy, give him a big guy next to him. When you don't need that anymore because everyone's different shape and size.
Right.
So like that mindset of like, oh, give him a big guy, throw it out, and like that's where they're like dated, and that's where Khan's dated. Like it's some of his like logic and ideas for for some of his stars.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
bring in Eric Bischoff and Kevin Dunn. Give him 3 months at the helm at AEW and see if it gets better.
I'm good on Kevin Dunn. I don't know about Bischoff.
Good production.
Either. I wouldn't be opposed for him bringing someone else in to help with booking. You know, they definitely could use some stuff. I feel like they're going in a better direction, I should say, right now than they had been. To me, I just don't understand how he dropped the ball on CM Punk. You know, it's just such a blatant, like, you need this type situation. Why would you do this? And WWE's kind of just adding him as a cherry on top for all the other good shit they got going on.
He's too much. He's too much of a friend and not enough of a boss.
Yeah,
that's his problem.
Yeah, I mean,
and they walk over.
I wouldn't know about that since I don't know Tony personally and I have no knowledge of how he runs stuff. I would just say,
I think you can see it though. Between lines.
Yeah, I mean, we're making assumptions. My main thing is just like
I make assumptions based on his pressers and how he reacts with them and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, for me, like, I wouldn't have fired CM Punk unless CM Punk stabbed me. And
I wouldn't have either. Even if he stabbed me, I probably would have fired him.
Yeah, right. I mean, they need him, so I don't get that. All right, well, we have wrapped up my main questions. Before I let you go, Ralph, is there any hot takes you'd like to do about wrestling cards, or anything from last year, this year, before we signed off, my guy?
If anyone out there has any Nebulas out of Chronicles, let me know.
That's not a hot take at all, bro.
I've only seen 2. No, I know, but I'm getting my shit in, as you'd say, right?
Wow.
Hot take.
Man's going into business for himself on my podcast, guys.
Yeah.
To see it.
Hot take. My hot take is that I think, well, everyone's gonna. I don't know if I have any hot takes. I mean, we know it's coming, right? Panini's gonna be here another year, more or less, or they're gonna go through their calendar.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw Damon Kemp drop pictures of more impeccable cards.
Yeah, I don't like impeccable, but I feel like impeccable is a poor man's immaculate. I don't know why they have both of them. They should just have immaculate, Yeah. Except for the championship debuts, those are great. I don't have any hot takes, really, to be honest. I think it's the hobby will stay the same. People are gonna piss, moan, complain about shit. When Topps comes out, people's heads are gonna spin. They're gonna have no idea what they're looking at. It's gonna be a learning curve again. What do you got for a hot take? You got any hot takes?
Well, it's funny you mentioned their head's gonna spin, because a lot of people I know started collecting wrestling cards because Panini got involved. I've heard people literally say that. I mean, I think AEW is going to have a pretty good card year. I'm hoping. Um, Metal 2 is coming out soon. They got other stuff coming out soon. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think that Leaf Metal is going to crash pretty hard.
Yep.
You know, the Rock autos are going to be cool, but boxes are like $400 to $500 a piece, and you get one auto and 10 base cards. And the way, as much as I do like Leaf, the way some of their high end stuff resells, you know, occasionally you get lucky selling it, but sometimes you can get some huge steals. Like I got an MJF number to 2 for like $160 or something. You know, if that was an AEW card, that probably would have been like $1,000 plus, you know? So it's going to be hard for people to get their money back on that product. And what was it? I think Breaker Mayfield was talking about how he's buying 50 cases of product. And I was just like,
Nice.
don't know what you're doing. Like I'm debating whether or not I want to buy a case. Like I was super hype on it, and seeing the price and seeing like how small the checklist is makes me even wonder if I'm going to break it, period. Like I'm curious, but it's going to be a tough sell.
I mean, I was super hype on the Leaf Legends of Wrestling, and then you open up a whole fucking case, and you're getting
pretty much like 1 to 3 relevant
like a Justin Liger's the best 20. Hit, like
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you're getting 1 to 3 people that are actually like giving you your value back out of the Leaf Legends.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely it's a scary product. Like you said, like I'll get like a case or maybe 2, and I'll try to think of some creative way to break it. But I don't want to scratch my head with these breaks. You know, I know you don't either. So
yeah, I've been reevaluating a lot of ways I break and a lot of breaks I do, just to try to save myself time and stress, because Whatnot's so weird, you know. Something that works today may not work tomorrow. You never know, you know.
The issue with breaks are we don't have the luxury of just doing like team breaks. You know what I mean? And if you're doing teams, and it has to correlate with the checklist. You know, on the sports side, I mean, could you imagine, like, look at their mixers, all sorts of different stuff. Oh, you hit the Raptors. Oh, you hit the Braves. It's easy peasy. With us, it's like, oh, you hit Team Generation of Cora. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, that's definitely
so. I mean,
valid.
I think letter breaks should work, but they don't, because you don't want
shitty letters,
XYZ or whatever. So it's like serial breaks are okay.
Serial breaks are tough fills, man. Serial breaks, like, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to do serial breaks more recently. It's a tough fill. And for me, like, I'd rather get a serial than a letter break. And it's funny because, like, I was doing the Undisputed breaks for PYW, and those filled quicker than me trying to do, like, 1-box serial breaks on it, where I was making less money. And it's funny because I'm like, so you could either have a guaranteed card or no cards, and people would rather do the PYW than the serials, which I find interesting because those to me have been way longer to fill than I feel like they should. But people like what they like, you know. I'm doing some of those Japanese women's cards I had been talking about in my last episode, some BBM Ambitious.
Nice.
Which will be cool, but I got to do serial because letter break on that. Like like I'd have to add Japanese letters to the letter break. So
I'm sure they'll be able to figure that out though. There's a lot of smart buyers on the app. They could.
Oh yeah. Well,
I love you guys in the card community. It's the best.
Ralph, I don't know why that just sounded so disingenuous, but
I think it's my connection.
Right, the sarcasm's my connection. Yeah. So you got anything else coming up on Whatnot? As I've been telling people, I'm going to be out of town for a week, so I'll give other folks a time to have their shine on the Whatnots while I'm gone.
Yeah, well, everyone on Whatnot, stay away from me, okay? No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know, man. I mean, Elite, I guess. We'll be doing half case breaks of Elite when it comes out for the first day or two. I mean, you know me. I don't like breaking. As weird as that says, I hate it. I hate ripping all those cards up. I hate sorting it.
Sorting's the worst, man.
It's time consuming. I don't want to sit there for 8 hours. To those that do, like you, like God bless you. You're doing God's work, because I ain't gonna fucking do it.
Right.
But I've got a question for you, actually. I'm
Yeah,
going to
go ahead.
blindside you here a little bit.
Uh-oh. What's good?
So you're Sway Nostalgia. You make a living off nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
The podcast is great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But when are you going to bring back, the talk show?
You talking about chit chat and whatnot?
Chit chat and whatnot. Can we get maybe one of those a month or one of those soon? I know people have been asking about it.
It's funny. I actually did get asked about it yesterday, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm torn because I love doing those shows. I had a lot of fun. Being honest, they were monetarily like my worst shows.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, besides the time you came on,
yeah,
and you were helping me get sales, besides that, it's usually like my worst shows in terms of actually making money. And like, I tried doing a break with it, and it seems like people get distracted when I'm talking, or even if I have, like, for example, anytime I put a pay-per-view or any wrestling on in the background and try to sell spots, like spots go significantly slower. So,
well, I know you can't do it all the time. I'm just saying it might be nice to
once a month. Once a month it might be not a bad idea. If I can, maybe I'll do that. So, yeah, maybe I could do it and I can simulcast it on YouTube, and just use fake music, not real stuff, so I don't get copyright, and then do it like that, so at least it helps me make more content. But yeah, no, I don't know, it's interesting hearing people say that they want me to bring that back, because at the time I didn't really think people cared that much.
Who was that kid you had on that one time who was like, he said he liked goats or something?
Yeah, Naderson.
What happened to him?
Oh, he came, bro. You know how Whatnot is. You'll be cool with someone and they'll come out with you some bullshit, and you'll just be like, bro, like, calm down, little homie. You know what I mean? Like, dude was trying to come at me about some bullshit, and I'm just like, bro, like, chill. So I ain't spoke to dude in a minute since.
Funny.
He's very strange. He was off. I was trying to help dude out, and then he came at me very disrespectfully. So I was just like, I'm good.
They were calling him goat fucker in the chat.
I didn't say that. That man was going way too into goats and talking about all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah, see, that's when the chit chat and whatnot was like lit. Like,
oh yeah, that was popping. No, it was good. It was just one of those things. Again, I wasn't really making too much off of it, and some of those streams would be like 6 hours of me sitting there, not coming out with less than $100. I'm like, I can't even really. Can't really be doing this. But yeah, nah, he went on, what was it, SD Card Company was in a stream with me, and I asked some guy about the comp, and I was like, oh, it seems a little high, I'm good though. And then he DM'd me trying to talk shit, and I was just like, bro, like, I'm sorry I didn't want to buy your friend's card, my bad. Like, I don't know why you think it's okay to talk to me like this, let alone period, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
People be wild out here. But hey, on that note, we got 2 minutes left. So Ralph, just wanted to say I appreciate your time, brother. Hopefully we can do this again soon. Maybe I'll schedule a chit chat and have you on it if you're down.
Yeah, definitely. Can I go tell someone to go fuck themselves real quick or not? Is that not what we do?
Yeah, go ahead. Knock yourself out, bro. I don't care.
All right, thanks. I knew I'd get to this. On Reddit, familiar calendar 4853. Go fuck yourself. Familiar calendar 4853, you little trolling fucking bitch. Little piece of shit. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Gaslighter.
I wish.
Cunt. There you go.
I wish we had more time because I have 1:30 left in my stream. But basically, this guy was on Reddit talking shit about a lot of breakers and other people and stuff, and just saying a lot of stuff that just was out of context. Yeah, talking about kabooms being guaranteed per case, which, as far as I know, is not true. But
it's not true.
Yeah, everyone
thought I was purging kabooms in the one sole full case break I did. But let's end it on a positive note. I hope you have a fantastic 2024, Sway. And Morty, too. I hope he has a beautiful year.
Well, sadly, he's having surgery at the end of the month, so hopefully not going to he'll be good. But I appreciate that, Ralph. And yeah, I hope you and Pam and the fam, the pup, everyone has a good year too, my guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of trolls. Everyone, when people have an opinion, I tell them, do like me, start a podcast, and then you can complain in the airwaves, and if people want to listen, they can.
Yeah. Start a podcast and rip their throat out.
There you go. All right, we're about to end. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate you.
All right.
And that was episode 9. I'm very sorry for the delay. This was supposed to come out over a week ago between vacation and then getting sick on vacation, which why I don't sound quite as enthusiastic as normal. I just haven't really had the energy to put this together. We'll be having some more stuff soon. I want to thank my guy Ralph from Sports Cards and More. Thank everyone for listening. Make sure to check out my new breaks coming up on Whatnot. I have an undisputed pick your wrestler break in AEW Mixer. Once I feel well enough, I'll be on to do that. To be honest, I got to take a couple days off just because I'm not feeling the best right now. But thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great 2024. Thanks.